Hello, grade 9 religion. This is your intro video for your ISU. As you can see here, your ISU is unit 14 and 16. Um, it's a fairly large kind of project. All we have to go is unit 15 in terms of course material, this ISU, and then 17 will be study for the exam, 18 will be the exam. So we are almost done with the course. So let's talk about this ISU. An ISU is an independent study unit. The expectations for the study unit is we're going to be doing a lot of personal reflection, but we are also going to have to tie each piece of that reflection to material that we have learned in the course. So it's not good enough to just reflect on an event from your past. You've got to reflect on an event from that past, and then you have to connect it to something that you have learned in the course or some piece of course material that we've covered. And I'll show you about that in a minute. So first of all, the name of the ISU is called 10 Reasons Why Life is Beautiful. This ISU is worth 15% of your final grade. So if you do not do this assignment, the best grade that you could possibly get in this course is now an 85%. If you finish the course with a 90% and you don't do this ISU, that means you got a 75% in the course. So it's 15% of your entire final grade for the course. Okay. And it's essentially what it's called. It's 10 Reasons Why Life is Beautiful. So this is kind of a brainstorming list that you can use. We'll be doing an activity in class in partners that will kind of help us brainstorm some activities that we can use for this. Okay, and then we're going to make a list. And it's basically going to be a presentation or a booklet of some sort that covers 10 different kinds of events in our life. And these events correspond with the different strands or units that we did in the course. Do you guys remember the honesty, generous, forgiving project? You remember creation, decreation, recreation. You remember covenant, the story of Moses. This is all units and things that we studied in the course. And you're going to basically do a slide or a page of a workbook. You're basically going to do a presentation on 10 of these strands. And for each of these 10, you're going to use these questions to help you reflect on a personal event. So let's take decreation. Decreation was when Adam and Eve got kicked out of the garden, and humans began to use their free will and were influenced by the devil to use that free will to sin. And that was the introduction of sin to human beings, and that was decreation. So explain how decreation, something you or others has done wrong, has affected your life, and how you are able to deal with that situation. So I'll think of that Adam and Eve story, and then I'll think of something that I did wrong. I got into an argument with my mother and had kind of a conflict with her. And then I'll explain how that was decreation, how that distanced me not only from my mother, but from myself, from other people, from God. How did that make me less of a person and further away from God's image of myself? So I'm doing my list, and I think decreation, argument with my mom. So here I go. I would open up a PowerPoint. Title of this PowerPoint would be 8, Decreation. Now, obviously, we're going to make this a little bit prettier. I would write each slide is going to be a paragraph. So I would write a paragraph about how this argument represents decreation in my own life, how it separated me from God, how it separated me from my true self, how it prevented me from having a relationship with somebody as important to me as my mother. So I'll write that paragraph, that short little reflection here. Now, this can be song lyrics, this can be poetry, but at the very least, it's going to be a paragraph. I would say somewhere between 8 to 10 sentences long, the paragraph. And then we're going to find a representative image, okay? And I want you to put some thought into the image. You're going to be assessed on that image. So, I could use Google Images, and I think kind of it distancing me from my mother, but also from God. I think Mother Mary would be a good picture, because that's God's mother. That's God. It's my mother. It's kind of my relationship with my mother, but not necessarily just God. So let's try Mother Mary upset. And I find this picture of maybe a grieving Mother Mary, or an upset Mother Mary, or Mother Mary crying. Let's see. Virgin Mary crying. Okay, so I've upset my mother. I've upset God. This would be a pretty neat image to use, so I'm going to copy that image. I'm going to paste it into my presentation. Come on. All right. I pasted that image into my presentation, and now I get points for making this look neat. So let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger, wider. No, maybe not. Like this, like this. I'm going to put my title up here, and then I'm going to place my picture or my sentence and my song lyrics, kind of put it over here. That's over there. And this is my decreation slide. Okay, maybe change my background color. Something a little bit more pretty. This one. And there we go. Okay, so each slide needs to have a title, should have a representative picture, needs to look neat, nice, needs to have either a paragraph or a song or some piece of poetry that kind of connects it to decreation and what I've learned in the course. Okay. Okay, so as you can see here, I've taken something from my life, argument with mom. I relate it to the course, decreation, my relationship with God. I've got an image that reflects that. My mom, mother, Mary, God, kind of pulls it all together. I put a title on the slide as for decreation, and that's one slide done for my PowerPoint. Okay? Okay, so once that's done, what's happening? Okay, so that's each slide. So that's we have a friendship slide all the way through 10. So there'll be 10 slides, 10 pages in your booklet, 10 pieces for your presentation. Once you're so the way you're going to start is you're going to reflect. You're going to think about your 10 reasons. You're going to think about 10 things that make life good for you. Okay, and then you're going to record. You're going to write down your list, and you're going to narrow it down to 10. And you want your 10 to fit under these headings, 1 through 10. Okay. There's going to be a rough draft. So once you've kind of started recording, writing some of the stuff down on paper, you're going to make a list. You can hand this in by paper. You can send me an email. But this list is basically, it's going to be due on May 22nd. And it's going to be a list 1 through 10. And all you're going to do is for each slide, you're going to just give me 2 to 3 sentences on roughly what you're going to do with the slide. So my explanation for what I did for decreation is I say, I'm going to have a slide that has a picture of Mother Mary that talks about an argument that I had with my mother and how that has created distance between my mother and I, God and I, and even myself, and represents decreation. So that's just 3 sentences, roughly what I'm going to do with that slide. And that 2 to 3 sentences, I'm going to need that 10 times, 1 for each slide. You're going to be handing that in. That will be your rough draft, and it will be worth 25% of your final mark. So if it's 15% of your final grade, 25% of that is going to be for your rough draft. That is this thinking component right here in your rubric. Okay, so I'll be giving a mark out of 40 for your list of 10 for your rough draft, and that will be 25% of your final mark for your ISU. Okay, once that's done, we will set a due date after we do the rough draft. We'll set a due date for the ISU, and that's when your presentation will be due. I'll take some more time in class to go over this with you guys. I hope this helped. Let me know if you have any questions.